Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Busan for today's daily challenge. We will have double bridges, and we start with 4 of them. So this little river here, not a problem. That little river over there, not a problem. We'll have bridges aplenty. Hooray. We also have Lacey is bored. Ow, my eye. I rubbed it and it hurts. Lacey is bored was here first. Miles Thomas, 1996, says today we shall be in the top 1%, which would be nice. That would be very nice. Man, it's been so long since I watched WWE. I've forgotten who the wrestler was whose song was that he was in the top 1%. Was that EC3? That might have been EC3's WWE gimmick, that he was in the top 1%. But, it was a while ago, and it was EC3. So, we're not exactly missing anything, if you know what I mean. Oh, goodness. Lacey says your girlfriend let your TikTok streak die. Oh, no. You know, I was just about to thank Type3690 for following, and then turned out they're a fucking worthless spam bot. So fuck you, fucking worthless spam bot. Hit a button on my channel. Jerk-headed fuck. Yeah, that's what I say. I say insulting words that also contain swears. Alright, these yellows come out to here, go over there, down this way. So we'll serve this business. Hi, Nora. Hi, get away from that. No, you're not supposed to be there. You're also not supposed to be there. Alright, go away. I shall feed you post GMMM. It will be after GMMM that you, my Nora cat, are fed. God, you have food now, I think. I don't remember if I looked at your bowl, but you'll get it. You'll be fine. Cat went zoom after Sonny's husband. Duh. Lacey should wear socks with sandals today. Well, listen, you do you. If it's comfy and it makes you feel good, those are the 2 most important things about fashion. Also, you're 1 week away from graduating. Hooray! Hooray and congratulations to Lacey is bored. Oh, what are we going to do about this blue business right here? I think, unfortunately, we're just going to kind of have to double back and do this, for now at least. Let's see here. We'll take ourselves, let's take 4 more bridges. Let's just be set on bridges for now and forever. Lacey, I will point out, if you desperately need to know the response to what you said, there is always YouTube. Now, granted, I could be just, still in ads and you can't hear me now, which would be unfortunate. But, there's always YouTube. All right, let's see here. We've got this pink business over here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to redraw this yellow road such that it goes up and over the pink neighborhood. And then we come down this way. Bing, bang, and boom, and get these 2 pinks into here. That seems somewhat reasonable. We can also, we can also extend this yellow in this manner, such that now there's a 5th house coming up this way to serve that business. That seems also like a good thing. Not so much of a good thing is the continued presence of blues being split in multiple directions. Although, I will say, hold on. What we can do, actually, now that this blue is here, we can do this such that this blue serves these 2 businesses, and then we can swing the pinks this way, which frees up this corner, voop, voop, and now these blues can go there. I chop this yellow out of existence, drop these blues down this way, and now suddenly we have 5 blues serving a circle, which is just fine. This blue here, not doing anything. Actually, hold, wait, stop. flip it, reverse it, etc. Take us a motorway. Now we have 6 blues serving the circle. Huzzah! Sonny's cat turned 5. Hooray for the kitty. Oh, God, it has been, as evidenced by the constantly changing stream schedule, it has been a week. I don't think this is the week I was in Vermont on. Is this the week I started in Vermont on Monday? I've lost track of times and also states. Oh, God. These 2 blues go up this way. Point is, I think it is the week I was in Vermont on Monday. I was in Vermont on Monday. I was in Rhode Island yesterday, and that was an adventure. I'm going to Boston tomorrow. Yes, I know that is Saturday. There's money involved. Sunday, famously, is Mother's Day. And typically my family does Mother's Day the day before because there's less traffic and it's the same weekend and no major headaches and all. We couldn't do that this year because, well, I'm working on Saturday. So Sunday is Mother's Day. That's going to be fun. Oh, let's take... do I need 4 more bridges? I think we'll just take a roundabout. And then, next week, I believe I get to be in Rhode Island twice more next week. So, what I'm saying is, I've picked a wonderful time, just, gazing in the vague general direction of the horrors. I've picked a lovely time to be driving more for work than I have all year. I've picked a hell of a time. Good job, Goog. Alright, this yellow will come out this way. We'll bop this like so. The 2 of you swing out that way. So these 2 yellows serve that. These 1, 2, 3 yellows serve this yellow circle, which isn't like a great number of yellows, but it's better than nothing. And this is a pretty short road, so I'm not terribly worried about that. These 3 light blues take the up and over route, get over to this. It'll basically be fine. This is fine. It's all fine. Everything here is fine except for the things that aren't fine, which include but aren't limited to the fact that I have 8 road tiles. 28 now, but still, that's not a fuckload of road tiles. It's a decent amount. It's a fair number. All right, we're going to redraw this pink road right here. Get these 2 down here involved. Now, unfortunately, there is the small matter of this pink business, which I think for the moment we're just going to have to support in this manner until we get some more dedicated pinks going out that way. Hey, look, some dedicated pinks to go out that way. So let's drop, first, let's take motorway number 1, swing it up that way, and then chop and murder this bridge and this road such that these pinks now serve this and these 2 pinks serve that. And next, swing up and over and in like so. So the 3 of these greens swing out that way, go up into here, bingo, bango and bongo. Do you know what is a good game that unfortunately I have not had the opportunity to play for quite some time, and that game is Dungeons and Dragons. I have had the itch for a little while now that I want to run a D&D campaign, which I did for a while, like back around the startish of the pandemic, and even a fair bit before. I ran a D&D campaign for myself and my friends, and we had a grand old time. I did, however, blatantly steal the plot. Like, anyone who was in my D&D campaign who had listened to the podcast Critical Hit would see, oh my god, the Goog is just railroading these people through the plot of the podcast Critical Hit. Fortunately, it was and remains a fairly obscure podcast, so I did that rather shamelessly. And we had a very good time, and then eventually, as all things do, it fell apart. And then a good bit of time went by. There were several minor and then sometimes not so minor societal upheavals involved. And basically it has been forever and a day since I properly ran anything tabletop-y. I tried once to do a campaign in Mass Effect 5e, which is a homebrewed version of D&D 5e that is flavored around Mass Effect, which is also very fun, but turns out that I was lazy, and it's difficult to get a truly immersive Mass Effect experience going when you have a party of 5, only 2 of whom have ever played Mass Effect, which was difficult, but, you know. Anyway, point is, I finally started getting some friends together, and we are, in fact, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and, man, we just had a session 0 on Wednesday, and I am already stoked, even if only half of the party was there. Point is, we had fun, just chatting and sitting around and making characters and doing rules stuff. Like, I am one of those people who, like, enjoys a little bit of crunch. Like, basically, D&D has exactly the right level of crunch for me in terms of mechanics of rules. Let's take, by the way, let's take a couple traffic lights and then pause just a moment to think and reflect on how in the ever-loving fuck we're gonna get all of the things to where we need things. Because we do rather need things. I think what we're going to do first is we're going to move motorway number 2 such that it pulls from these greens to get up here. And these 2 greens, which had previously been going that way, will now swing out in a more thisderly direction. And they'll serve that business. In turn, I do have... Okay, this bridge has opened up, which is good. So what we can do is we can run Bing like so. And I'm going to want... Yep. So you get connected there. Do I have the road to do that? Yes, I do. Okay, so these 3 blues take a rather long and twisty road. They get down to this way, and they'll serve and satisfy this business. Lacey is not loving the fact that since there was ash in the sky yesterday, it's so goddamn humid. Well, 1, that sounds bad. 2, you should put Gary in the sky. Come on now. It is okay, though. You do have a plush shark. Plush sharks make most things better. This is true. You 3 bop over that away. Come to here. 3 of you swing up to this circle. This went circular at some point. I don't remember you rounding yourself, but you've got a fairly short road. You're probably basically fine. Speaking of things that are probably basically fine, this little this existent blue business right here is basically just an offshoot of this other existent blue business, so I don't have a major problem with you. I could do a branch off of this sooner and have a traffic light or something, but fuck it. Speaking of traffic lights or something, fuck that. We'll take a 2nd through 5th bridge because, as previously noted, we're going to use a lot of bridges. Like, getting double bridges and starting with 4, very good thing. Is a very good thing on this map in particular. There's so much water here in Busan. Oh, God. Speaking of, well, not necessarily just water, but speaking of, I'm going to restructure this pink situation, largely because we got an extra pink house to spawn. So now there's a 5th pink house that'll serve this pink business, which is good. Additionally, we've got this dark blue over here, which, boy. Yeah, I don't know, friends. Let's grab this green road down here to come up here, have these 2 blues additionally service this business. That'll be fine. And then I think we're going to have to mess with this blue. Is what we're going to have to do. So let's chop and sever this connection right here. This is a long trip for the Blues. This is not great. This is not what you want. Well, the bad news, unfortunately, is that we're going to have to further complicate matters by tossing up to here a roundabout. And then out of the northwest spur of that roundabout is a road that goes up here. So we throw a roundabout right there. We get these two Blues to go through this and up that away. And yeah, I don't necessarily love that, but it is what it is, and it's going to have to be fine. Third green here means we alter this, get it up that away. Oh, God. Oh, bigness and stretch. Bigness and stretch. Ow. Dearest of lords. All right. What are we doing? Oh, right. This yellow. I forgot about this yellow. This yellow came into existence and needs to be serviced. And, uh-oh, this is a circle now. That's bad. I'm going to toss this dark blue onto this road because this road eventually gets into the roundabout and goes up here. So it is in a very roundabout way. Roundabout, get it. In a very convoluted way servicing this business, which is good. Unfortunately, can I wait until Monday to save this? I don't think I should. Yeah, no, it just turned Sunday. This is going to be mad and angry about stuff. If we wait. Herg. If we don't wait, however, I would have to... I'd probably have to yank a yellow off of each of these circles, neither of which can really spare one. This one can spare one. And then we pop them through here, we swing them here, we round about here, and then we go off that away? Oh, that's horrendous. I hate that. Okay. Let's grab you. And just going to pull 2 off of this one. Yeah, I don't even have the yellows to get this way. So actually, I think we might just be kind of dominated at the moment. Like, you can see the plan. The plan is they come up here, they round about here, they voop, and they go off that away. But it's not necessarily a good plan. Do I have any spare? I don't really have anywhere I can easily pull a spare road situation. Let's grab a motorway here. I think actually grabbing that motorway is going to be very helpful. Just because instead of dealing with this garbage here, well, first of all, we can do that again. Second of all, instead of doing the lengthy road and the roundabout and this garbage here, we can instead pop motorway number 3 into the eastern entrance of this plaza. And that at least will provide some level of servication for this business. This here's what you call servication. It's a combination of dudes and rotoration. So rise to the occasion and make Ezekiel Jackson references. Because everything that I do, I dominate in. Glorious. Oh, Lord. All right. Suddenly, this business here has a whole bunch of lime green dudes all up in its grill, which is basically fine. This business over here, not doing so well vis-a-vis dude flow. So, let's perhaps entertain a new approach. I'm gonna chop these greens off of here and restructure restructure this road such that now we get 4 greens going up here to serve this guy. That'll basically be fine. Additionally, okay, we got a few more blues to spawn here. That's helpful, sort of. All right, you go up there, you do that. Here, we've got these blues. Let's just chop this and do that and just separate these blues. Going 1B, 1R with stuff is generally a good idea. Even if it's not, like, immediately relevant, I still think it's a solid decision and one we should be celebrated for encouraging. Let's take a 4th through 7th bridge. That's not going to be relevant, but needed to happen. This pink house, I don't think has any real long-term consequences for anybody. This green business is starting to calm down now that it's been rebridged. That's okay. These greens are doing a great job supporting this. I don't really feel like restructuring in such a way as to move all of this over that away. Although, I say that, I think, oh, hi. Okay. Well, we've got this pink house here and this pink house here. What if we were to restructure this roundabout? What if, say, the southern spur was here and you had the southeastern spur? That then frees up this to be an eastern spur going there. And basically what I'm getting at with that is that that'll allow this pink house and these two pink houses, including this one, which literally just spawned, to serve... fuck. Well, I see. Okay. Well, you're a pink that exists. That's okay, actually. I don't necessarily hate that, because I had a couple pink houses that weren't doing anything, and now they can do something. So, as long as we allow our pinks to do stuff, it'll basically be fine, right? We can say that and pretend that it's even true. Good. Speaking of things that we can pretend are true, let's pretend that the existence of this round motorway means what I think it means. Because what I think it means is I can grab all of these light blues and sever this connection here. And suddenly these light blues, rather than having one of the most ridiculously convoluted travel paths in the game, are just straight-shottedly motorwaying themselves via motorway number 4 into the face of this business, and this is just gonna be fine. Because, like, I actually think this is just gonna be fine. I think this is just gonna be A-okay for these light blues. So that's good. I'm happy to have done that. Also happy to connect these two yellows to this green road. This plaza is totally fine now. And actually, that means I don't need motorway number 3. Don't need it. Don't bother with it, which means we can immediately pivot these yellows back to serving this business, which is good. You should point west for a more efficient dude flow system. Get pointed out that way. That'll be good. Next. Oh, hi. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Why would you do such an awful? Not good. Not what one wants. A couple of lime greens up this way. I think I'm going to pull some of these off of that. I could grab, like, these greens here, which presently aren't doing anything. Actually, that's probably the better idea, isn't it? Yeah, that's probably the better idea. All right, fine. So we'll draw motorway number 3 up like so. I could do like a traffic light and have these greens do double duty, but this is 4 greens serving a circle. They're already stretched pretty thin. So instead of doing that, I'm going to do this bit of road right here. Give me a roundabout. This bit of road right here exists to allow this greenhouse and this greenhouse to come up here, motorway, serve this business. Unlikely that that's going to serve a major purpose in the long run, but I think that should be fine. So there's been a discussion among Mets fans one of many discussions that's happening among Mets fans is the presence and purpose of having Craig Kimbrel on the Mets in 2026. And Craig Kimbrel has had himself a wonderful career and is likely going to wind up in the Hall of Fame. But in 2026, he's not, like, very good. What are we doing about this yellow, by the way? I don't know. There doesn't appear to be a great answer to the question, what do we do about this yellow? Because I don't really want to pull any of these yellows away from this, but I think we kind of gotta. So maybe we just bite the bullet and do it. I think we just bite the bullet and do it. Yeah, I think we do this. We have a roundabout here. These two yellows get in there. They go boom over to here. These blues are good enough coming down here. They get to be fine. So Craig Kimbrel's been on the Mets, and there are multiple arguments for why Craig Kimbrel should be on the Mets. There's the dumb as a box of rocks argument, which is that Craig Kimbrel has a whole bunch of saves and is therefore excellent. That's not literally true. There's a more nuanced argument, which is basically Craig Kimbrel is a talented veteran relief pitcher looking for one last job, and there's value to be had in players like that. However, you need to show as an organization that you're willing to give jobs to talented veteran relief pitchers looking for work and one last ride, so as to attract the next talented veteran relief pitcher looking for work and one last ride. So you need to, like, be nice and kind and good employers to these players and not just treat them like disposable garbage, as many teams have come to treat all of their relief pitchers and, in some cases, all of their pitchers. So, like, Craig Kimbrel is serving a purpose not just for Craig Kimbrel's performance on the 2026 Mets, but also a hypothetical future reliever's performance on the 2029 Mets, right? Like, if in, say, 4 years, Mason Miller is not the best relief pitcher in existence, but merely a talented veteran relief pitcher looking for one last job, he might be more inclined to come to the Mets, based in part on the positive way they treated and handled Craig Kimbrel. That's a feasible, reasonable argument to me, and your belief in the value of that argument stems largely on your belief in the general value of talented veteran relief pitchers looking for one last job. So, listen, it may or may not matter to you whether or not 2029 Mason Miller views the New York Mets as a decent employer. Well, probably not 2029. That's closer than I thought when I thought of the hypothetical far-off year 2029. Whether or not 2034 Mason Miller thinks about, how the Mets treated Craig Kimbrel in 2026. Point is, among smarter Mets fans, there's a general belief, not a general belief, that there is an undercurrent of belief that Craig Kimbrel's presence on the Mets serves no good purpose and is only there because he is Craig Kimbrel, name brand experienced closer, and he will inevitably be put into pressure situations that he really shouldn't be put into because he is, after all, in 2026, really quite bad. He's had several teams give him work over the past few seasons, and he's wound up being not necessarily kicked off in a disciplinary sense, but he's been kicked off of all of them because he has been bad. And I have taken the position, and I still largely hold the position, that, at the start of the season, this was a reasonable fear. It was reasonable, I think, to fear that the Mets would use Craig Kimbrel in pressure situations that he really hadn't earned based on his performance, and that he would just be given a long leash because, well, he's Craig Kimbrel, future Hall of Fame closer. Naturally, he's still excellent. And this was a reasonable fear because this is a thing that lots of teams do with lots of pitchers like Craig Kimbrel, particularly when they have stupid, overly veteran-reliant managers, such as, say, Carlos Mendoza, who is a terrible fucking manager. One could argue, and in fact, one being me has argued. Hold on a moment. Sorry, had to cough. One could, and in fact I have argued, that this is more an indictment of Carlos Mendoza than of Craig Kimbrel, but Craig Kimbrel is a more fungible asset to the 2026 New York Mets than Carlos Mendoza. If you can only get rid of one of them, it is probably better to be rid of Craig Kimbrel. However, on balance, the Mets haven't done that. Craig Kimbrel has been the fourth or fifth best one-inning reliever in the Mets bullpen and has been used in situations where one would use the fourth or fifth best one-inning reliever in one's bullpen. Now, it is a fair argument that maybe you don't need 5 right-handed one-inning relievers in your bullpen, and maybe the role of fourth or fifth best one-inning right-handed reliever in your bullpen should be filled by someone who has a little more roster flexibility and can be sent down to AAA if you need, rather than just being a dude who, if he pitches on Tuesday, is not available until Thursday, no matter what. That's a fair argument, but Craig Kimbrel has been basically fine, and for all of the hemming and hawing about, oh no, what if the Mets put him into a pressure situation and he fucks it up, he has been basically fine. He has been in pressure situations and not fucked them up. He has also been in pressure situations and fucked them up, but listen, over the course of a full season, every reliever is going to find themselves in a pressure situation, right? There are going to be days where, yesterday your first through fourth best right-handed one-inning relievers all had to pitch. Or like one of them is hurt and 3 of them pitched yesterday, and the best reliever you have for a given situation is your 5th best right-handed one-inning reliever. This is a suboptimal situation, but it is one that every team finds themselves in at some point over the course of a season. We're going to pause briefly from my lengthy Craig Kimbrel rant to examine the situations going on with these dying yellow circle businesses, because they are, after all, dying. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull this house, and this house off of the roundabout, and we're going to supplement this business with these 2 yellows right here. They are going to go like that, smack dab into the front end of that business. That is going to have the impacts of 1, providing an additional house worth of dude for this dying business, 2, providing 2 additional houses worth of dude for this dying business, 3, taking traffic out of the roundabout and therefore hopefully accelerating the dude flow into this not yet dying but definitely fucked business. And 4, using a motorway so as to not make me feel bad when I die with motorways in hand, which is a bad way to die in mini motorways. Listen, you never want to die, but you're gonna die. This is just about video games. Don't die with motorways in hand. That's just silly. Smoke 'em, as they say, if you got 'em. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, title of the episode? Sure. That'll be good for the old SEO. Oh, they are the best. SEO, the pride of... Anyway. We should put this yellow and this yellow onto this business, so this will be just fine. Is there anything else I can do in the moment to save this thing? Because this needs more help than I'm presently giving it. Actually, you know what? If I just peel these 2 yellows off, yeah, we can just have boop, boop, boop. These blues are also going to be yoinked in a this lead direct. Ooh, you know what? Actually, hold on. They can do this, and then the motorway that I just drew to here can actually go to there. Yeah, that'll be something. Maybe possibly even something good. But it gets these Blues involved with this business. No, it died anyway. Okay. All right, fine. Failure and badness for me, 4,145 commuters over 124 days. That feels like a pretty good score, to be honest. It feels pretty decent. It's not the top 1%, but it is top 3%. 4145 is not anywhere near as good as... Man, you know, there might be a lesson here in how you should be proud of your own accomplishments and not compare them to others, but goddamn, Sam. Goddamn. All right, let's bring in the Wordle. Hello, the Wordle. The Wordle today is Olive. So anyway, so Craig Kimbrel has occasionally had to pitch in pressure situations, as your fifth best right-handed one-inning reliever has to do. And he's done fine in some of them and sometimes in others. And one time, the Mets were playing a game that wound up going 2 extra innings. And they had used all of their guys who are better than Craig Kimbrel the day before. So they wound up having to have Craig Kimbrel pitch with the winning run on third and the game on the line. And he gave up a sac fly, and the guy scored, and that just kind of happens. It happens. It's unfortunate the Mets lost. The Mets losing is a thing that has happened a lot this season. Yesterday, the Mets were playing the Rockies in Colorado, and it was tied at 2 in, I believe, the bottom of the 8th. Yes. And the Mets had used, day before yesterday, the Mets used all of their best right-handed one-inning relievers. They used all of them. Additionally, in this game, they got 5 innings out of their starting pitcher and then cobbled together 3 more innings from a couple of relievers. They used Huascar Brazoban for an inning and changed. They used Austin Warren for an inning and change. And it was the bottom of the 8th inning. Game was tied. They had a couple of guys down and they couldn't use some other guys. They turned to Craig Kimbrel. And I was like, this might be fine. Craig Kimbrel's been basically fine. And then Craig Kimbrel loaded the bases and gave up a grand slam. So, you know, it's not ideal that, I had been in the position of defender of Craig Kimbrel, and then Craig Kimbrel gave up a grand slam and lost the game. It happens. It's the thing that happens when your 5th best right-handed reliever has to pitch in a pressure situation sometimes. But listen, another thing that happens, and a thing that I would support happening, is if you find yourself in the position of 5th best right-handed one-inning reliever on a not very good baseball team, and you're put into a pressure situation, and part of the reason you have your job is that you're Craig Kimbrel, saves master, guy who thrives in tight situations, and you're put into a pressure situation and you wound up loading up the bases and giving up a grand slam to the fucking Colorado Rockies, you probably should not have your job anymore. I am no longer in the position of Craig Kimbrel defender, is what I'm saying. This 20-minute rant on the YouTube show has largely been a mea culpa to one guy in a Discord server, as all good grievances go. Oh, let's see here. So, the Wordle today is not, in fact, Olive, which is a shame. The Wordle today is not shame, because there is no E. Alas. The Wordle today could be a great many things. Would help if I could think of one. Could be brand. Nothing saying it's not brand. There are, in fact, a whole bunch of yellow letters that suggest that brand was not the worst guess. Now, granted, none of them have actually been helpful. Well, they've been a little bit helpful. What about, can't be arbor, because R is not the second letter, and there's no O. It could be parby. Now, granted, that has the small problem that parby is not a word, but if you can ignore that, then we might be getting somewhere. cannot be rhubarb. Rhubarb is a 7-letter word. So, unlikely to fit into the 5-letter Wordle structure. What about... What if we just look at 5 more letters that I haven't used and put them together that way? It could be chust. Now, granted, chust is not a word, so has a small problem there. 5 letters that I have not used, rather, because we know that the word isn't going to be this. Could be... It can't be abhor, because we know that there's no O. But I'm still going to throw that out there just because it has different positions for the 3 yellows here. And I'm looking for some greens. And I found no greens. Good job, Goog. Oh, good job. Oh, man. Oh, that feels bad. That feels bad and dumb. I did a bad and dumb. It can't be rabbi because there's no I. Now, granted, that would once again be different positions for my yellow letters. But I don't think rabu is a word. No, it can't be rubba. As in rub-a-dub-dub. No? Okay, fine. Oh, boy. It could be... Man. Here are 5 letters I haven't used. Okay. We know all 5 letters. That was such a good use of the 5 letters you haven't used hypothesis. So the 5 letters in this word in some order are A, B, M, R, and U. And the only thing we have to do is put them in the only order they possibly could be, which is rumba. It could be... What do you mean? Oh, it couldn't have been rumba because we knew that U wasn't the second letter. God damn it. It can't be... What? Ha! Umbra. It's umbra. Okay. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Let us do time guessing. All right. Hi there, friends. We got a whole bunch of folk. We got us a whole bunch of folk. We got the flag of England. We got the flag of Great Britain. We got the flag of the United States. Uh-oh. This says Zenith K. Callio and Adams. So now, given the presence of the flags of England and Great Britain, I was all set to say that this is Jolly London Town. But now there's also an American flag and a plain old dark-colored flag. So that might be a little bit worrisome. On the other hand, I don't see anything else here. So we are going to say that these folk look to be just kind of folk. Like, oh, hey, trolleys. Yeah, you know what? This is wait, hold on. Are you like military guys with these hats? I'm going to say that this is Jolly London Town in 19 dickety nothing. That seems like a thought. Not necessarily a great or good one, but here. Where's Trafalgar Square? Where did your Trafalgars go, London? There it is. We're in Trafalgar Square in jolly London town in 19 dickety nothing. This is, in fact, Finnish. These are Finns celebrating the end of World War II. I see. I see. Okay. I don't know how we were supposed to know that, but sure. Hi there, British newspaper folk on weird scooters. What's with the British newspaper folk on weird scooters? This is the Daily Mail Transatlantic Air Race competition of 1969. Okay. So I think we have an idea as to the when of this. You've got your 60,000 pound jackpot. It's a 5.5 hour race. Okay, fine. And the Daily Mail is indeed a British paper, so we are once more, except correctly this time, in jolly London town. Off we go again to jolly London town. We are in London, England in 1900 and nice. Make a guess. Hey, we were just across the river. Fine, fine, and good. Next. This is Roy Thompson Hall. If I was a person who knew who the fuck Roy Thompson is, that would be helpful to me. But I'm not, so I don't. What do we got? We got largely, although not entirely. Well, this looks vaguely American. This symbol right here, I know what this is saying, no turn on red, but I know that American no turn on red signs just say no turn on red. So this is an indication to me that we are not actually in the United States. But question then becomes, where the hell are we? Your shirt says you're the most inging confugi iwa. Doesn't help. Too many letters obscured there. Fella in a jacket. Fine. You're the... Oh, Toronto. Okay. So this is the Rotary Club of Toronto. We are in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Good job on the non-American instincts, Goog. So we're at Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. You know, if I was a person who recognized what I think is CN Tower upon further inspection, I would have had better luck there. But okay. So, yeah, we're in Toronto. Fine. As to the when of this, wonderful question. Let's examine some phones. That looks fairly modern. That looks fairly modern. Yeah, sure. We're in Toronto in 2022. It could be 2022. It's either 2022. The question is this pre or post pandemic? And I think it's post. So we're going to say we're in Toronto in 2020. Just now noticed this guy's shoes. What's up with your shoes, guy? Those look wildly uncomfortable. Why are you marching in stiletto platform heels, friend? It's an interesting choice. Anyway. Let's say... All right. We are in Toronto, which is right about this away. Let's see. Can I find... well, yeah, let's start with CN Tower, which is right over that away. And now the question becomes... Aha! Roy Thompson Hall. So if Roy Thompson Hall is here and CN Tower is there, we are right about here. Yeah? Yeah, we're right about here. The intersection of that and University Ave in Toronto, Ontario, Canada in 2022. It was 2019. It was pre-pandemic. Sad. Also, there were other dudes in heels. It was a whole thing. Turns out it was a whole thing. Next. Okay. We've got a fair whack of fellas. Fine. We've got some folk at a place. It's a whole bunch of limestone and columnage going on here. So, my first thought is this is like Washington, D.C., but hold on. This is the Albert A. Volk Co. They're house wreckers of New York. Oh. Well, that means we're in New York, by which we mean Manhattan. All right, fine. So let's go, not to Philadelphia, let's go to New York, by which we, of course, mean Manhattan. Could that be like New York City Hall or something? I suppose that's possible. Let's find, where the hell is City Hall? I think it's downtown? I don't know why I'm thinking this is City Hall. I just kind of pulled that out of my ass. Turns out that New York City Hall is not, in fact, in Lower Manhattan. Can we get any other sense of where this might be? Like, we've got a few old-timey buildings. That couldn't be like the... I think this is too old to be the Empire State Building. So... here's a hypothetical. Here's a thought experiment for you. New York is the Empire State, right? Why do we, and by we I mean I, but I'm not the only one who pronounces it this way. Why do you put so much emphasis on the word state in Empire State Building? Why isn't it pronounced the Empire State Building? It's weird. Speaking of which, fuck it and fuck this. We are at the foot of what will once become the Empire State Building in 1905. It was 19 Dickety, actually, and we were way the hell down there. Also, apparently there was a bomb. Unfortunate. Next. All right, we've got... Hello, Sam. Sam is here to deliver slams. I am here to try to figure out who the hell are these people. So this is Marg Zadowski and Vekwi Bojonik. Okay. And they're both Meshanikos. Got it. Okay. So this appears to be... hold on, is that Hebrew? Oh. Okay. Yeah, this carving looks like Hebrew. Hey. Yeesh. I've got nothing. So we've got a statue. People are laying flowers at a statue, which appears to be like a memorial tombey type situation. Not great. We've got a Jack Nicholson looking dude having laid his flower and turning away now. We've got... yeah. I don't know, man. This feels vaguely Russian. I don't know necessarily why, but... no flags or anything here? No? Sadly, no. Alright. I have no earthly idea, but I wish to move with alacrity. So, we are in... this feels Eastern European in some vaguely unidentifiable way. We are in Bucharest, Romania in 1988. This is going to be a horrendous guess. We are, in fact, in Warsaw, Poland in 1983. I've made worse guesses. 36,440 sure is a score. It's about all that can be said for it. And now we need pitching strikeouts by someone who played in the 2024 ALCS, someone who played in the 2024 NLCS, and 3 dudes who never won a Cy Young. One an Astro, one a National, and one a Tiger. All right, let's see here. So the 2024 American League Championship Series was played between the Yankees, who won the thing and then went to the World Series and lost to the Dodgers, and the Astros, I think? I think maybe the Astros? The dude who pitched in the 2024 ALCS would be Garrett Cole. Because I believe that was Garrett Cole's not quite walk year, where he opted out of his big Yankees contract, and then nobody signed him. Nobody expressed massive interest in him, so he was just like, hey, the Yankees, can I come back? And the Yankees were like, yeah, okay. So we're going to say it's Garrett Cole. 2024 Garrett Cole only had 99 strikeouts because apparently he missed time with injury that season. Well, that's a thing that happens to Garrett Cole. Gestured vaguely at the fact that Garrett Cole hasn't pitched since 2024, but I forgot that he was hurt in 2024. So, bad job, Goog. Should have gone with Carlos Rodon. Also, it was the Guardians. It was the Yankees and the Guardians. Should have gone with Carlos Rodon, a good pitcher on the 2024 New York Yankees. Sad. A Houston Astro who has never won the Cy Young is, rather famously, we remember this from our days of the grid, it's Nolan Ryan. And now the question becomes, what year between 1980 and 2025 do we want to say that Nolan Ryan was very good on the Houston Astros? That's a good question. My first thought is 1984. Well, given that the man pitched between 66 and 93, it is literally just throw a dart at a year in the 80s, and 1984 is a pretty good guess. 92nd percentile, not as good as 1987, which would have been literally 73 strikeouts more than that. Okay, fine. It's still 92nd percentile, damn it. But yeah, pick a Nolan Ryan year, and you've got a fairly good shot. So, that's good. Now then, a little more interesting here is, or interesting in the sense that we have to think about it, is a Washington National who never won a Cy Young. This also covers the Expos, so you've got a fair number of very good pitching seasons. However, the first three guys that come to mind for me are Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Pedro Martinez, all of whom have won the Cy Young. So now, Dennis Martinez, maybe? Bartolo Colon won the Cy Young, so it's not going to be him. Jordan Zimmerman, I think, had some good years. Could be Jordan Zimmerman. In terms of like super, yeah, nobody's super. Maybe maybe Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin was pretty good for a while, and he got a big money contract, and then turned out to not be very good anymore. Maybe it's it could be Patrick Corbin the year the Nationals won the World Series, which I believe was 2019. It could be 2019 Patrick Corbin. Oh, am I going to be mad? How sure am I that Steven Strasburg won a Cy Young? I just kind of assumed that he must have. Maybe he didn't. Maybe the answer is 2019 Steven Strasburg. There is, in fact, no penalty for guessing other than your total guess number incrementing, and you could use that as a tiebreaker of sorts, but fuck that. We're going to go with 2019 Steven Strasburg and see if he ever won a Cy Young. He did, in fact, never win a Cy Young and is the tippity top of the ladder, so feels good. Feels pretty reasonably good. 2019 Patrick Corbin would have been a fine guess, but not the top of the ladder. So good job, Goog. A Detroit Tiger who never won the Cy Young, Justin Verlander, has definitely won the Cy Young. Definitely won the Cy Young. So it's not going to be Justin Verlander. My next thought is David Price, because David Price was very good but never won the Cy Young that I think of. He might have. No, I don't think he did. If he did, it would have been his walk year before he signed with the Red Sox. I don't think so. So it could be David Price. There's probably someone else I'm thinking of. Bert Blyleven was a Tiger. Did Bert Blyleven ever win the Cy Young? Maybe. He's kind of an old... He was kind of a modern style pitcher, so he would have gotten a... David Price has totally won a Cy Young. Okay. All right. It's almost like David Price was a very good pitcher up until the literal end of his career, and you should never have been given away for less than nothing. Huh. Let's see here. What about... I think Bert Blyleven. What other guys could it be? It could be Tarek. No, Tarek Skubal's won multiple. He's like the two-time defending Cy Young Award winner. Probably not going to win it this year on account of missing at least a month with elbow surgery. But he's won the last two. So, quick tangent. How many millions of dollars has Tarek Skubal cost himself by needing elbow surgery in his walk year? It seems like a fair number of them. An at least 8-digit sum of money Mr. Skubal shall not recoup now that he has suffered his unfortunate fate. Now, granted, he's still going to make a lot of money, so it's not like we'll find him in the poorhouse anytime soon. That's an expression that is going to be like, you know how floppy disk icons mean save, even though nobody uses floppy disks anymore? How far are we as a society from the phrase being in the poorhouse being continuing to be ubiquitous, but they're not actually being poorhouses because the government doesn't exist to provide services to people? What are you talking about? It's just a money laundering scheme. A thought experiment for a sadder time. Anyway, Detroit Tiger who never won a Cy Young and racked up a whole bunch of strikeouts between 1980 and 2025 is fuck it Bert Blyleven in, let's pick a year. 1982, Bert Blyleven. Was he on the Tigers in 1982? No. Also, apparently not a Tiger. I'm just wrong that he was not a Tiger. Being unable to fetch player stats here, Sam, means that maybe StatPad is having a bad time. StatPad might be having a bad time, and if it is, we might be done. So, we'll see. Detroit Tiger. Whole bunch of strikeouts. Never won a Cy Young. I have thought of the stupidest guess. Anibal Sanchez was not a historically great pitcher by any means. However, he did have some very good years with the Detroit Tigers, including 2013, which turned out to be the 96th percentile year. That's a good pull. Also, haha, Jack Morris, fuck you, you never won the Cy Young. You're only in the Hall of Fame because of the coincidence of time where you happened to start your career. You happened to start your career at the very beginning of the 1980s and end it at the very beginning of the 1990s, and therefore happened to have the most pitcher wins in the 1980s. Oh boy. Fuck you, you asshole. The 2024 NLCS was played between the Dodgers, who won it and then the World Series, and some team that wasn't... Oh, right, the Mets. The Mets were in that NLCS. So let's name some guys who were in the Mets starting rotation. It could be David Peterson. No. I mean, I guess it's possible that Luis Severino had a whole bunch of strikeouts. He was a strikeout guy. Yeah, I guess it could theoretically be Luis Severino. It's not Luis Severino. Now, unfortunately, unfortunately for me trying to guess here, the Dodgers rotation in 2024 was held together with duct tape and super glue. I think there was some bubble gum at work. Like 2025 was the year the Dodgers didn't have a bullpen, and they wound up, Yoshinobu Yamamoto wound up literally throwing a complete game in Game 6 and then pitching in relief in Game 7, which is fucking insane. That's like Hall of Fame shit for Yamamoto. If he winds up going into the Hall of Fame, it will be not entirely, but in part because of shit like that. Unfortunately for them, he didn't play for them in 2024, that I can recall. No, 2025 was his first year. So, am I wrong about that? Hold on. I don't remember him being there in 24. 25 was Roki Sasaki's first year. Maybe 24 was his first year. Hold on. Maybe 24 was his first year. Maybe Yamamoto's the answer. Is Yamamoto the answer? Was Yamamoto in the 24 Dodgers rotation? Now I don't remember. Fuck. Yes, he did pitch in 2024. Okay, my point. My point here is the Dodgers rotation in 2024 was held together with duct tape, super glue, and possibly Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So, like, I know Blake Snell didn't pitch a full season because he's Blake Snell. I know Shohei Ohtani didn't pitch at all in 2024. That was the year he went 50-50 because he was only an offensive player. Like, all he did was hit and steal bases. So, yeah. I mean, listen, Edwin Diaz might be in the top 5 of this just because the Dodgers were so rotatey with guys. God. I am actually going to say Luis Severino just because I know he pitched a full season and was good. I'm not going to say anyone on the Dodgers because, like, the only guy who... Like, the Dodgers did not have a traditional starting rotation by the time they got to the NLCS in 2024. They had burned all of their dudes. Tyler Glasnow was, like, coming back from injury and pitching out of the bullpen. And I don't want to rely on the possibility that Yamamoto had a full good season. So I'm just going to say Luis Severino, who I know had a full good season. There. 96th percentile. Second to his teammate Sean Manaea. Okay, fine. Good job. I forgot that Sean Manaea also had a full and very good season in 2024. Manaea's number 1. Jose Quintana's number 3. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, number 4. Good job, Goog. 910 stat pads. It does not show your score beat this many other scores, which is a shame. I thought I did good today, except for the whole Garrett Cole of it all. It's fine. Anyway, folks, that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. I don't remember my fucking schedule for next week. This is the end screen. Bye. Thank you for watching.